So for your high level of FSH, this is a normal biological response to the fact that your testis is not able to do its primary function. So the brain is secreting high level of FSH, trying to force a response. So the FSH is the hormone that stimulates sperm production. The brain produces FSH to communicate with the testes to produce sperm cells. So if the testis is not responding to this message from the brain, then the brain will assume that probably or perhaps the message is not enough. So the brain will keep on sending more FSH, trying to force a response, trying to force sperm production. So the high level of FSH is not a problem with the brain, it's a problem from the testes. Just like you get into your house and you knock on the door. When you knock on the door, you are passing a message. You are communicating with those inside. So you are expecting a response, which is to open the door and you move in. But when you are not getting the response, when no one is coming to the door, no one is responding, then you knock more harder, you shout, you call, like, who is there? Come and open the door. Are you not hearing my knocking? So you knocking the door more harder, you shouting to get a response. It's not that you're having a problem. The issue is that you are not getting the desired response. So that is what makes you to respond more, aggressively, trying to force a response. So the issue is coming from the inside because that is where the response is not coming from. So you knocking, you are not having a problem. So the brain producing more of FSH, it doesn't mean that the brain is having issue. So the FSH is, the FSH is indicating that the testis is not responding to the brain stimulation. So the brain is trying to force a response. So if we are able to, address the testicular issue, properly work on rejuvenating testicular cells and function, and the testis is able to produce sperm cell, then automatically the FSH level will be normalized. This is not rocket science. That's just how it happens. So yeah. Then for FSH and LH, which is high, and testosterone, which is normal. So yes, this is very, very realistic. And the reason behind this is that, like I said, FSH is secreted by the brain to communicate with the testes to produce sperm cell, and LH is secreted by the brain also to communicate with the testes to produce testosterone. So there are two functions of the testes: producing sperm cells and also secrete testosterone hormone. So in your case, high level of FSH is indicating that the testis is not responding to the brain stimulation to produce, sperm cell. So that is why the brain is producing more of FSH, trying to force a response. High level of LH and normal level of testosterone means that the brain is producing LH, telling the testis to produce testosterone, but it is taking more effort, even though the testis is still responding by producing testosterone, but it is taking more stimulation from the brain to get testosterone production. I don't know if you're getting me. So this is still back to the underlying testicular issue. I mean, the atrophy, this is still, because with the atrophy, it means that there is, you have atrophy and you have varicocele. So with the varicocele, there is poor blood supply to the testicular environment. And if there is poor blood supply, that will affect the oxygen, levels, because blood transports oxygen. So if there's no enough, blood supply, that means there won't be enough oxygen. So, and when there's no enough oxygen, some of the cells, the tissues will be dying off because they're not getting, enough oxygen to survive. So when they are dying off, then their function becomes impaired. So the testis is undergoing this challenge. There's varicocele, there's atrophy. So it's taking more effort from the brain to get testosterone production. You get. So the brain is producing FSH once again, and it is meant to stimulate sperm production, but the sperm production is not coming because the factors affecting the testicular environment, and that is the reason why the brain is producing more of FSH, and the brain is producing LH, to communicate with the testes to produce testosterone, and it is taking a lot of effort on the brain to get testosterone being produced because of the underlying factor affecting the testicular environment.